Even though I didn't get around to doing the Ghostbusters theme night from last week's episode of The Masked Singer Season 12, I'm doing something I've never done before on this channel, and I'm going to be recapping both Ghostbusters nights and the Grand Ole Opry night, which we had yesterday, or 2 days ago at the time of recording the video, and talking about the performances we had, the eliminations, and going through the clues from not only this week's episode, but from last week's episode to make up. So, strap yourselves in because we've got a lot to talk about in this week's recap and review of The Masked Singer Season 13. So let's get straight into this video. Okay, so I just want to say something right now. I really do apologise for not doing the recap from Ghostbusters Night last week. I had no time. I didn't really get around to doing it. So I was supposed to do it yesterday, or on Wednesday on the Grand Ole Opry, which had that episode. But I just didn't get around to doing it. So this is a first for me, and you'll be getting both Ghostbusters and the Grand Ole Opry recap. So it's a first. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It wasn't my intention to do it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a recap of kind of both episodes because it's only 5 episodes. I don't want to miss an episode of recapping. It would be very kind of disappointing for me, but anyways, we should get straight into the video. Well, actually, also because not only I'm doing this, but also tomorrow night, Britain's Got Talent is back tomorrow night after a week's break because of the Six Nations rugby, which took place. I do kind of feel like it was a bit much to have to cancel the whole show for that 1 week because I feel like I understand the Six Nations, but they could have moved BGT onto Sunday and we had it then. So But that's just the way I think. I do feel like them taking it off the schedule for the week was a bit much. But I'm not the judge here. I don't run the show, so I don't know how TV works and with the ITV scheduling. I've got no idea. But in addition, we're going to talk about the Masked Singer recap from this week's episode. Is there someone there? Sorry about that. I didn't really hear anything. I keep thinking I'm hearing something, but I really don't know. Is there? Okay, never mind. I keep thinking I'm hearing something. I don't know why. Just what's going on with me? I've got no idea. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the recap. Starting off the week, if we can guess it. So starting off with Pearl. Now, I'm going to do it a bit differently because I'm going to talk about both her performances, and then I'm going to do my guess. I'm going to go through the clues for both episodes, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of a funny schedule this week, but we'll get through it. No doubt about it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're back to normal next week. So Pearl performed for Ghostbusters Night. She performs "Don't Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult. I've never heard the song before, but I thought she sang it fantastically. And, her voice was incredible. And the high note she was hitting at the end was just, OMG, it was good. I'm just hearing her sing each week is just absolutely incredible. And just, honestly, I'm so glad that we're hearing her because honestly, she's just absolutely just brilliant. Just a brilliant singer. And I'm going to get my some stuff up here. So, yeah, and it was just a great start to the show as well for that night. And so, the range she has is just insane. So, yep, so that was that. And then the next we had was, if I can get it up, the next performance she did was Here You Come Again by Dolly Parton. And I have to say, like I mentioned this just now, but it seems like every performance she does, she just gets better and better, and especially with the theme being a kind of a country theme, and with my guest being who we think it is, she's actually a country singer, so it kind of ticks all the boxes in my opinion. So, but the song suited her really well, and the presence she has is just absolutely I thought she crushed this performance. Although I have to say, I was actually very surprised. I was actually shocked that she made it through first over the other two, which we'll get to in a minute, because in this episode I knew she was going to be going through, but I didn't actually expect her to be the first one to make it to the Super 6, which I was definitely surprised about. I was not really expecting that because of one performance I feel like should have moved on, which we'll get into in a little bit, but I still think she definitely deserved to go through regardless, and it was a good performance, a very good performance. And anyways, my guess for Pearl, it's this. I'm sticking with my guess, and like I mentioned, my Kiki Palmer guess is completely gone out the window now, and my guess is still Gretchen Wilson. I think I might pronounce the name wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at pronouncing names, sadly. So let's go through the clues quickly for both Ghostbusters and the Grand Ole Opry, which was this week. So she mentioned about a rocky home life, and she mentioned in an interview that she actually was once dropped out of high school due to problems at home. Then we had the wanted poster. I actually might have had some clues. Actually, I might get because I did put some clues somewhere because I don't have it on the Word document. I've only got episode 6 clues. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I don't know where that came out from, but okay, I think I've got it now. Okay, so some of the clues here, and the one. So I mentioned the Rocky Home Life, the wanted poster. One of her songs from Under the Covers was called "I Want You to Want Me." So that was what I was thinking, but that also I think could be is another reference to something else, which I'll find now, if I can find it, of course. I'm using the YouTubes to get these clues again because I'm kind of just all over the place right now. But anyway, so I think that was the connection I had to the wanted. But she also has a song called "Outlaw Woman." That could be a bit of a stretch though. I'm not too sure. But again, like I mentioned, that could be a bit of a stretch. But I'm going with the clue that made me think of it more, I guess. Then the next clue we had was find it. The moon. We saw a picture of a crescent moon, and I think she did a duet with Ann Wilson from Hearts called "Bad Moon Rising." I don't know if I mentioned that last week. I may have done. And she also mentioned being an on-stage bestseller, and she's a bestseller with her music and books. There was an X's and O's reference, which I'm struggling to find that connection. Because I don't know, like that made me think of maybe maybe the NFL. Like I don't know, that could be something, but I'm really strong with that clue anyway. So I'm gonna need some help with that clue. And so that's the clues for Ghostbusters. Now let's go on to the clues from this week's episode. Oh, I need to. I've got my document up here actually on my laptop. I'm normally using my phone, but okay, there we go. So. Get it up here. So she mentioned the Dolly Parton, and not only she sang a Dolly Parton song, but I actually found something out, which may be a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. But she actually once borrowed Dolly's trousers actually for the 2019 CMA Awards. Again, that's a bit of a stretch there, but I might be wrong. The Christmas wreath, we saw Christmas wreath hanging, and she released an album called Christmas in My Heart, an Angel, and she has a song called Angel of Montegari. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. These were some of the clues I got. There was one with like a strong arm on the cowboy boot. I don't know what that is in reference about. I'll need some help with those clues. But yeah, this is we can all agree it's Gretchen Wilson. We can all fully agree it's definitely her. And then we had the contestant who went home this week, which was Griffin, and we'll talk about his performances right now. So his Ghostbusters performance was Disturbia by Rihanna, but he made it his own version, like a very dramatic, stripped-down version. And I have to say, I knew he was a good singer. Like, in his first performance, I knew he was a really good singer, but I was not expecting this. I was not expecting that performance from him. Like, I was honestly quite lost for words watching the performance. Like, his voice was just insane, like, and the theatrical kind of, it was just, oh my goodness, his voice was just incredible, like, and just it definitely one of my favorite performances of the season so far. I think probably my top 5 favorite ones, and he really delivered this performance. And his episode 6 performance was "Take Me Home, Country Roads." Can't remember who sings it. I know it, but this was a really beautiful performance because he mentioned about what he'd been through. Because he mentioned he had been having a really rough year, and he did this performance. It was really lovely. It was a lovely performance. and he went home this week, which I can kind of see why. Because I don't know, because I know people are quite divided on if he should have made it through or not. I personally I go into this episode, I knew he was going to be going home, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. So, anyways, Casey, I forgot to mention, Casey Wilson was on the panel this week, filling in for Rita Ora, because I'm actually not too sure why Rita wasn't on this week. I don't know if she was like, unwell or anything. I don't know if she had to, I don't know if she had like scheduling issues, so she couldn't be there. I got no idea. But regardless, Casey was great, by the way. I forgot to mention that at the start of the video. And they did a group performance of Save Horse Rider Cowboy. That I forgot to mention as well. So I'm such in a rush today. I don't know why. Because I want to get this video as soon as I can with my ranking. I would go on to normal content like BGT tomorrow and then the recap on Sunday. I want to get that out of the way, please. But back to this. Casey Wilson got this correct, and it was none other than James Van Der Beek. And goodness gracious, I knew he can act. I knew he was very talented, but I never knew he had this good of a voice. Honestly, his voice is just so good. And I think you mentioned that he's been trying to go on Broadway. I mean, his voice, with that type of voice, he deserves to be on the West End or in theatre. It's just absolutely fantastic. He is a brilliant singer, and I kind of hope we see him have a sing career soon, because he has got a brilliant voice. And can I just say this now? But seeing his family, his kids joining his wife, at the end of the episode, giving him a hug, it was probably the most moving moments I've seen on The Masked Singer. And he mentioned about his rough journey, and he had been diagnosed with cancer for the past year, which is horrible. Cancer is an absolutely horrendous disease that nobody deserves to have. So the fact he did this show is certainly commendable, and seeing his young kids that come out, his children, it was just wonderful. He's got quite a few children. He's got 6 children, I think, 5, 6 children. But it was just wonderful, absolute pure magic. I love seeing it. I think it's just such a beautiful family he's got, just absolutely wonderful. So, massive respects to James. Thank you so much for doing the show, James Van Der Beek. You are fantastic, and I kind of hope you get a career soon, because I think you're fantastic. And then we had Space Ranger. So we're going back to Ghostbusters Night, and he performed Cleaning Up the Town by the bus stop boys, or the bus boys, and it was actually a really fun performance. I loved seeing the showmanship he brought to the performance as well. It was fantastic. And I might be a little bit biased here, but I actually really like his voice. I think he's got a pretty good voice. I didn't really have him going. I knew he was going home this week, so I was like, okay. I knew he was going home. But I really enjoyed this performance. I actually thought he actually improved vocally compared to the Taylor Swift performance. That might be a hot take, might be unpopular, but that's just my opinion. So that's that. And I mean, we all knew who it was, and 3 out of the 4 panelists mentioned it. It was Rita, Jenny, and Robin, and Ken. Can't remember what you said. Wasn't Tracy Morgan, I don't think. But we all knew it was. We all knew it was this person. It was Flavor Flav, and just honestly, and just I can't explain enough to express how happy I am to see him do the show, because Nick mentioned that he is one of his favorite people in the entire planet, and I just have so much respect for him as a person. You can just tell he was just so kind of grateful to be here, and and the stuff he's done as well is just amazing. He's done so many good stuff as well in his career, and just honestly one of the nicest, genuine people in the business. He really is one of the nicest people you could meet. He's just lovely. Just an amazing human being, a lovely personality, just wonderful. Just my mad respect for Flavor Flav is just up there. So, Flavor Flav, thank you so much for doing The Masked Singer. You were amazing, my friend. So much respect for you, man. You were just fantastic. And then finally, we had Boogie Woogie. So we're going to talk about his performance first up. His Ghostbusters, and then we're going to talk about his most recent performance, because oh my god, I think after that performance he might be the one to beat. So So his performance for Ghostbusters Night was Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. Finally, we got this song on the show. It's taken 13 seasons to have it on. But, ever since, he debuted a few weeks ago with his I Believe in a Thing Called Love performance, he has been like I had been looking forward to this performance, and he did not disappoint whatsoever. It was absolutely just phenomenal. The range he has is just, and the power, the range is in his voice is just insanity. And honestly, I could just, just his vocal chops. He can switch up to anything. He did rock, The Darkness. He did radio. He did some, Imagine Dragons, and it was just an amazing performance from him, and definitely one of my favorite ones of the night as well. Then we had his performance from this week being Something in the Water by Carrie Underwood. And I have to say, right now, just firstly, I was honestly surprised he made it into the bottom two after that. I wouldn't necessarily call it the bottom two because it's not because it's two people going through anyway. So it's like Pearl went through first, so it's gonna be up to them to perform for the next spot. I don't know why people think I can see. I don't know why it's considered the bottom two. I don't know why, because it's the Battle Royale. Technically, the Battle Royale isn't really the bottom. That's normally like the SmackDown, but I don't know. But but I will say I was actually surprised he didn't go through first. Because I think he definitely had the best one to the night, which I'll get into in a sec. And I knew Griffin was going home regardless. So, but anyways, back to his performance. I mean, at this rate, I think he might have just blown the whole competition out the water. It was just absolutely phenomenal. The performance, the passion he showed, the emotions, the vulnerability that he displayed into the song was just utter perfection. And I mean, to do a Carrie Underwood song, that is a real gutsy choice because Carrie Underwood, she's got a phenomenal range to her voice, and he absolutely crushed this performance down, and it just shows the level of talent that Boogie Woogie, who we think. So I mean, if Boogie Woogie is who we think it is, the level of talent this man has is just incredible. And I'm not only this was the best performance of the night. This was by far the best performance of the entire season. I think. I'm telling you, he is right now. He is the one to beat in the competition. He really is the one to beat. I could see him winning the whole show. And from what I've heard, this is a little tease from what I've heard, but apparently one of his upcoming performances is one of the best performances in the entire franchise's history. Now that makes me feel like, okay, I think I just can't wait to see that performance. I don't know when it's going to be, but I really am excited to see what Boogie Woogie does next time because he's just sensational, absolutely phenomenal. So, again, I think we can all agree who Boogie Woogie is. It's definitely not Brendan Urie because I've been seeing so many people say Brendan Urie. I can hear some similarities. The clues don't match up, but we can all agree it's Andy Grammer, right? We all know it's Andy. The clues so let's go for the clues. For him. Oh. And also because the reason I've been filming as much is because, and the video being quite delayed, is because I was not feeling great. So I didn't want to do it while I was not feeling too great. But, so let's go for the clues. So the parents' kids shows, that makes sense. His dad actually writes children's music, and shows can refer to concerts as well. We saw the star in the telescope, and he was on Dance with the Stars. I think did he make the final? I can't remember. And then he talked about positivity. He had an interview about how his songs they kind of spread possibility. And that was the clues I got from from Ghostbusters, and then we're going to talk about the clues from this week's episode. And he mentioned his parents being musicians. His mother was a musician, and his father, Red Grammer, he's actually a singer, songwriter, musician, and he's also a record producer. So that was a reference there. He mentioned about losing his mother, and his mum actually passed away from cancer. You know, again, a really horrible disease that nobody deserves to go through. And then the home run. These are some of the clues I connect. I couldn't connect all the clues, but the home run. He mentioned about doing a home run, and he performed at the World Series. He did the national anthem at the World Series, and even Jenny kind of jokingly mentioned, if this is an athlete, I'm gonna like pull my hair out because he's too good. Honestly, I actually was also about to say, I almost said something that because I was like, yeah, if this was an athlete, if this is an athlete, or if this was an athlete having this incredible singing talent, I would just be mind blown. Because I mean, think about with Kobe Turner from last season. I was convinced it was a professional singer because his voice was just too good. You know, I mean, for an NFL player to have that quality of his voice is just magical. And just honestly, Kobe Turner really is one of the best NFL players. Or even that, one of the best sports players to be on The Masked Singer. His vocal tone is absolutely exquisite. He is just mind-blowing. So, but after that, we all agree it's Andy Grammer, and I think I can safely say I think he's officially be the one to beat in the competition. I know we're seeing Group C, and I've heard good things about, because I know apparently Mad Scientist Monster and Nessie are going to be good singers. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for those two singers as well in Group C next week and see if they can match, because I think as of right now, he is the one to beat. I would honestly love to see this guy win. I would just be more than happy if he did win. So that is it for this week's double recap and review of The Masked Singer season 13, for Ghostbusters and the Grand Ole Opry Night. Honestly, let me know your thoughts on both these episodes. You know, and just I'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, I apologise for the big delay of not getting this video out, because I was supposed to do the video, the Ghostbusters a few days ago, but I just never got around to doing it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to just mash all this recap together, and you would basically get both episodes recapped into one. So, you know, I'm praying that next week we're back to normal. I hope I'm ahead of the game, and I'm hoping that, you know, I just deliver it. I just need to get this, I need to get back on schedule. That's how to do it. I need to get back on schedule. But that's it for this week's recap and review of The Masked Singer season 13 for both episodes. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe with post notifications turned on. I would really appreciate that. But again, thank you so much for watching this video, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.